Power bottoms are great, don't get me wrong. I like getting dominated as much as the next person, mentally. But sometimes, I just want to be the powerful one. That's where service tops come in. Now, a service top is basically the opposite of a power bottom. They're a top, and will come in you, but they're also very empathetic and nice tops. They completely throw the whole top thing on its head, and finish the getting fucked trifecta. And clearly, you guys really want this, because out of the 100 people who voted, at the time of recording this, 42% of you voted for this option. Hereby, you aren't allowed to run or scream anymore. You chose this. You wanted this. From now on, everything that happens in the next 15 minutes is your fault. Fault New Vegas. Ooh, now for a question. What's a service top? And I actually had to research this because, well, everyone knows what a power bottom is, but nobody knows the other half. Service top-ing. I know I briefly went into it at the start, but let's dig a bit deeper. The word service top is derived from the Latin terms servitum, meaning slavery, and summum, meaning top. Now, don't be worried, there's no slavery, at least not in this video. That's for a future Noodlegod video. As previously stated, a service top is a top, which is a position during sex who's on top, giving mad dick, who, unlike most tops, gains a deep sense of pleasure from enhancing their partner's sexual experience, usually characterized as very kind and empathetic versus power bottoms being fierce and aggressive. So now that we know what a service top is, let's get the criteria out of the way. The first ideal quality in creating the ideal service top is being a generally kind person and showing empathy, as that's like the whole basis of being a service top. Being good at communicating. And lastly, taking an active role and showing minor amounts of leadership. Hold on, that's just a power bottom. But I mean slight amounts of leadership. Less than a power bottom, however, still controlling the sexual encounter, but namely in the act of making sure their partner's having a good time over them. Leadership isn't required, however it enhances the experience and dynamic without diminishing the partner's role. It's not gonna be fun if they just fucking roll over and take it, unless you're that kind of person. Also, one more thing, I'm not sexist anymore, so expect women in this video, as I do believe women's service tops are kinda cool. So with all that being said, let's go. Sarah Weintraub, as a nice change of pace from the power bottoms, is actually one of the few romanceable characters in New Vegas, with the fandom all collectively having sex with her. So this makes actually gauging her sexual style far easier. And through thorough testing, Sarah Weintraub is a service top. We see this as she's one of the most kind and empathetic characters in the Wasteland, and with her being so nice, it's actually kinda cute. Maybe that's all it takes, that's why I'm bitchless. Sarah goes out of her way to make sure you're having fun, so we know Sarah has that service top mentality without even needing to take off her pants. Sarah, also despite her niceness, has a sizable amount of leadership, as she does manage the Vault 21 hotel gift shop. So we know she has a moderately sized dog in her. The only possible flaw in this argument is that Sarah is, she's kinda autistic, as she's not the best at social cues and communicating. In fact, she's very straightforward, which doesn't really seem to help you if you're a service top, which coincidentally is the one thing that prevents me from being a service top. Overall though, 2 out of 3 is good enough, and I get to fuck Sarah for this video. Yeah, she's a service top, get over it. Let me just get this out of the way. Follows Chalk is an absolute fucking homie, who I wish I could fuck, but can't. Now Follows Chalk is a very nice character, like everyone else you're gonna see on this list. But be warned, Follows Chalk is kind of naive, and I doubt he really knows what the Devil's Tango even is. So let's assume he does. Follows Chalk is a member of the Dead Horse tribe, who you meet in the Honest Hearts DLC. He's just a little bit stupid, considering a lot of characters actually end up accidentally killing him when they first meet him, because he has no situational awareness, and people think he's an enemy. Which isn't great for service topping. Dying isn't ideal. However, Follows Chalk does make up for this with his kindness. And as for the leadership he demonstrates, well, let me hold your hand for this. His name is Follows Chalk. there is no leadership. However, Follows Chalk is a man of action. He'll do whatever it takes, which is all you need in life. Like a loyal guard dog, I get the vibe that Follows Chalk wouldn't really be particularly good at fucking. But his heart is in the right place. Remember, kids. Oh, sorry. Adults. It doesn't matter if you're bad at it or have a small penis, especially you ladies. As long as your heart's in the right place, you can be a service top. So Follows Chalk is a service top. With every character I include, this video looks less like a every service top in Fallout New Vegas, and more like characters I want freaky style, including Brawl Tejeda, the man modeled in my image, at least facially. Is he a service top? Well, let's find out. So Raul is a very chill guy. Like, I fucking hate this word, but Raul is actually nonchalant as fuck. He seems like he'd be in some kind of dream Fallout blunt rotation. He genuinely don't give a fuck, which isn't ideal for a normal service top, but just look at him. Does this man look normal? Raul isn't just some mopey guy who doesn't do anything either, as he takes a very active role in-game as a companion, primarily fucking mowing down everyone who stands in your way, making the game way too easy, which is pretty important for service topping, as being a top who just gets off to your partner's pleasure isn't quite enough to make the cut. Raul also shows us that he's just a very kind and charitable man. He literally lets you have everything to his name, including his little shit shack. Not that you'd want it, but it's still the thought that counts. Basically, Raul would do anything for the courier. Not in a bitch way, but in a cool, mysterious, nonchalant way. Not to dehumanize him, but Raul literally exists to make our life easier. So yeah, I can't imagine how Raul wouldn't be a service top. Also, he literally provides services to the courier. Not prostitution, unfortunately, but repair services. Which, like, come on now. Service? Service top? Okay, let me explain. I know Yes Man was in the Power Bottom video. Granted, you watched it. Didn't you? But hey, remember? It was post-game Yes Man. In-game Yes Man is a completely different breed. A nice breed. Yes Man is another kind person, but this time, it's less like genuine empathy, but more like being a little bitch and not wanting to get beat up kind of empathy. If you weren't paying attention, that's a good thing. Yes Man is probably the nicest overall character in Fallout New Vegas. Not out of choice, I'm sure he hates his life, but because he was programmed to. So Yes Man is empathetic and is good at communicating, as his program doesn't allow him to lie or keep secrets if he's asked. In fact, he was probably programmed by Benny with some sick sexual fantasy in mind. I mean, he's only human after all. You can't say you wouldn't do the same if you had the choice. Yes Man also plays a very active role as one of the big players in Vegas, so he's probably going to play a bigger role during sex. At least, as much as a robot that isn't Fisto reasonably can. Every other character on here is a casual service top compared to Yes Man, as they're serving out of choice, while Yes Man was designed to serve. And besides, it wouldn't be a Noodlegod video without there being a sex bot. So the verdict? Yes Man is a service top. I know it's a common courtesy in our world, but finding an old white man who isn't racist, a pedophile, a genuine asshole, or a cannibal is pretty damn rare in the Fallout world. That's where Doc Mitchell comes in. He's kind of a really nice person who goes out of his way to save your life, so you better be grateful. Might as well call him Master while you're at it. Now Doc Mitchell is one of the most empathetic characters of the list, because, well, he saves your life. And not just like casual saves your life. You'd be dead without this man. Doc Mitchell lets you start the best game ever made, lets you steal all his shit, and dip. Name a more service top thing than that. He's also a very active member in-game, as he's a doctor going out of his way to save your life. Think about it. If Doc Mitchell is willing to go out of his way to do something as meaningless as saving a human life, imagine what he'd be willing to go out of his way to do during sex. The Doc prioritizes others over his own personal gain, trying to make sure you have a fun time playing the game. by giving you hard drugs and a grenade launcher. So Doc Mitchell is a service top. Mean son of a bitch is an ugly, stupid sounding bitch. Which is what I would be saying if I was an actual supervillain. Mean son of a bitch, in all honesty, is one of the sweetest characters in all of Fallout. It's very hard to find a character in this franchise who isn't just a little evil. Hell, even some characters in this list have their quirks.
The cons are just... they're a dirty people. They live in tents like animals, and they're very rude.
But mean son of a bitch, he's perfect in every way. Beyond selfless, this man endured torture, even having his tongue cut out, which is why he sounds so stupid. And then he gets rescued by an evil bitch, and gets the option to become a bad guy. And you wanna know what he says? Well, we don't really know what he says, but it's probably along the lines of no. So we know he's nice. And get this, mean son of a bitch is also incredibly active for all around him. He goes out of his way to protect Westside from fiends, just for the love of the game, knowing the good he's capable of. With every word, mean son of a bitch becomes less of a service top, and more of a divine figure the world should know of, and churches should celebrate. Okay, as much as I want to turn this into a mean son of a bitch video essay, I kinda gotta move on. This isn't a ranking video, but if it was, mean son of a bitch would be the greatest service top of all time. The true martyr of service tops, if you will. So that concludes every service top in Fallout New Vegas. Now, I'm sure you know how this goes. This isn't every service top in the game. That's just silly. Be rational for a minute. And besides, it gives me a chance to sell out and make a sequel for money. But there's definitely a lot more service tops to discuss. Granted, this video gets 300 likes. Yes, that's original. So yeah. Anyways, huge thanks for making it this far into the video. If you liked the video or learned anything, please shoot a subscribe. It really helps. I'm hoping to hit 1,000 subs this year, if things go well at least, and I don't get fucking my channel assassinated. And that's about it. Anyways, God bless the Enclave. God bless America. Noodlegod signing off.